Welcome to the Rambam Hilchot Deot series. Today we are going to introduce Hilchot Deot. What are Deot? Deot variously means opinions, attributes, character traits. It is the equivalent of what we would say in modern American English, midos. Rambam is going to talk about different behaviors, how a person should act, how a person should react, what a person should think. And he introduces this section of halachot and also section of good advice and section of sometimes it's not even good advice for certain people's commandments. He introduces them with the strict biblical commandments that are involved in this treatise. The first is lihidamot bidrachav, or what we would say in Latin, imitatio Dei, to be like God. We have to do like He does. Mahu rachum afatah rachum, mahu chanun afatan chanun. Do like He does, just like He is compassionate, or just like He is graceful, so too you should be graceful. We'll see that inside. Lihidavek biyoda'av, to cleave to those who know Him. He's going to explain, V'davak tavo, you shall cleave to Him. You can't possibly cleave to God. So it means you cling to those who know God better. You find those people who have refined midot, those people who know the Torah and know how to behave based on the Torah and try to act like them. Le'ahov et re'im, this is a paraphrase of V'afta l'reacha kamocha, love your fellow like yourself. That's referring to fellow Jews. Le'ahov et hakirim, to love the strangers. That is written a few times in the Torah, many times, almost 20 times. Loving the stranger refers to variously either the convert to Judaism, that is, the convert has to be shown a special love and has to be given preference in a number of things. A person should show favoritism to the convert. And it also refers to those Gentiles who live among us during certain periods, and they have voluntarily chosen to live according to the Torah as Gentiles. That is, Gentiles also have commandments. They have 7 commandments they have to keep. The Gentiles who are meticulous at keeping their particular commandments and want to live among us in the land of Israel also get certain preference. So that's what we're referring to when we say gerim. Shelo lisno achim, to not hate brothers. Once again, that's referring to Jewish people. What is the hatred? We're going to see. Sometimes it involves certain behaviors, certain thoughts. The Rambam also was going to talk about lashon hara, speaking badly about others and the various forms thereof, which, as the Chafetz Chaim defines, that is how hatred is expressed in action. Lehochiach, to rebuke people. The Chazon Ish and others point out that today we're not really good at rebuking. There is a commandment to do so, but like all commandments, you have to know how to do it right. And those who do not know how to do it right, perhaps it's better that they not do it. Shelo lehalbin panim, to not humiliate people. This literally means to not whiten faces. It refers to the reaction of a person who's being humiliated. His blood runs away from his face. He loses blood pressure. That is a terrible thing. That they consider that, the sages considered that on the level of killing someone. We wouldn't put a person to death or bring him to trial for killing if you humiliate someone, but they're trying to emphasize how bad it is. Shelo le'anot lalim, to not oppress people. That means to not speak words that make people feel bad. This is also what we consider a form of lashon hara. This is speaking to someone directly, making him feel bad. There's an especial commandment not to do this to those who are even more unfortunate. You can never say anything bad to any person, but to the widow, the orphan, and the stranger, it's especially important not to speak in ways that could harm them. Shelo la'aloch rachil, to not go about bearing tales, not gossiping. I was very surprised when I moved to the land of Israel here. In America, in the non-kosher newspapers, they have a gossip column. That's a terrible thing. And here in Israel, they even call that, the gossip column in the newspaper is called the richilut column. That's a terrible, terrible thing. Richilut is a terrible aveira and it should not be done. Shelo linkom, to not take revenge. We're going to see linkom means to take an action or even to tell someone that he is why he was doing something. For example, that fellow who didn't lend you his bicycle pump to fix your bicycle tires the other day, so you get a nice fancy new one. Now he needs a bicycle pump to borrow. Can't say to him, no, I'm not going to lend you mine because you didn't lend me yours. Even that is a form of revenge. Even saying that is forbidden. And the last is shelo lintor, to not bear grudge. And there's a classic example. That would be taking our bike pump example. Once again, that would be telling someone, I will lend you the bike pump, but just like you did not. I'm better than you. I'm not doing like what you did. That is called bearing a grudge. These are the mitzvot that the Rambam saw fit to include in this treatise because they involve a person's behaviors. We will see also that the Rambam makes a differentiation between a regular person, how every person ideally should act, and then we have the category of Talmidei Chachamim, literally students of the sages, people who aspire to be like the sages, so they go above and beyond what is called for a regular person. We're going to see that what the Rambam describes touches on behavior for everywhere from dress to how one eats, to how one sleeps, to how one exercises even, to how one spends his time studying, to what profession a person chooses. And that is one ideal standard, the golden mean. And then he's going to talk about the standard of the Talmidei Chachamim, people who aspire to be like the Chachamim should take on certain midot chasidut. They take on stringencies on themselves in order not to be like everybody else. And God willing, we'll explain all those in their place. And next time we're going to begin with Halacha Aleph.